Welcome back to Newfoundland. This week it's time for a little winter camping as the crew head into the nearby mountains for some backcountry skiing using the new Pulk bags that we saw Steve making last week. But they were still waiting for weather conditions to improve before packing up and making the trip.
Before Robin and I left Newfoundland for the holidays and went back to Mass, we had got this clear plastic and this lumber from Rod, thank you Rod, and we framed in around the center of the boat here where it's square-ish. There's not a ton of shape to it, and we were able to get these tarps to go around pretty nicely. And then while we were gone, Anthony came and shrunk wrapped the stem and the stern for us, which was quite a project for him to get all those funky curves and around everything. So when we came back, this has been awesome. The boat is closed in, we've got a nice door, we can come and go, and when we come in on deck here, we're out of the wind. I can fill up the diesel heater and be out of the weather. Going down below is nice. You open the companionway and you're not having snow and stuff blown in. We've got our shovels and our snowshoes and our skis and our sleds just all up here on deck. I had to extend the stovepipe for the diesel heater and brought that out through the side of the shrink wrap. And all in all, this has made a really big difference. It's cut down on the condensation below. It's made life here just a lot more comfortable. And we've been leaving our slippers up here on the housetop. So we come up in our slippers and then we can put our boots on and get suited up and go out in the weather and come back, and we can leave all the snow and stuff here on deck and not be tracking things down below. It was a bit of time and a bit of expense. I would say all said and done, like $1,500, almost $2,000 between the shrink wrap and the plastic and the screws and everything for doing the framing. But in terms for comfort for a multi-month winter, I would absolutely spend the money and do it again. It's made a huge difference. All right, we're ready on tank 2, and this one's a bit bigger, so it'll take a bit longer.
Carter, who came aboard last week, was still around to help Steve with jobs around the boat and getting ready for the ski trip.
Hey, you're on.
It's flowing. Testing the stove, just haven't used them in a while, making sure everything's good to go before we take into the backcountry. This runs off liquid gas, so we have a pump that pressurizes it, and right now it's getting primed. It comes through this line, up through the fire, and then down to the bottom. So right now what we're doing is heating that little loop and making the liquid in there gas, and then we can fire it up for real. All right, that looks good.
The weather still wasn't cooperating, so Carter and Steve went out in the truck to see what climbs they could scout from the road. But the rain and warm weather weren't the only obstacles on their path.
It's just a Friday. We've gotten Robin's truck stuck a few times over the years, but I think this was the worst. I'm really glad that some folks stopped by and helped tug us out, because I don't think we were getting out on our own. Glad we had shovels That was a little bit of an adventure. We pulled off to go look at some ice climbs, and I didn't realize how steep the shoulder was and how soft the snow was, and kind of like pulled over and then all of a sudden just started sliding downhill sideways, which was not a fun feeling. But glad we got ourselves dug out, and no damage to the truck, and we were totally fine. So just another little adventure here in Newfoundland. Because if we're gonna come in there and then try to get up into this valley here.
Yep.
But I wanted to bring this one just in case the going's real easy and we decide to go past, or we decide to get up on top.
I think he was actually referring to a different spot, because there's no way they sled up that. I mean, they could.
They might.
I think they're coming up this.
Finally, it was time to pack up the gear and get set to head out to the trailhead the next morning.
It's a little bit gentler grade.
Yeah, maybe. I've almost finished the second Pulk bag. I didn't get the daisy chain put on it, and I was much more successful in getting tabs over the zippers, which on these bags really doesn't matter because UV is not going to be their downfall. But when we do the stack packs and the sail covers for the boat, the UV will destroy the zipper if it's exposed like this one. So we want to have it covered up like this one. And this was a great practice for that. I'm really, really glad that I made these. I learned a lot. I made a bunch of mistakes, but I don't really care that these aren't perfect. So let's get them loaded up. We've got, I think, most of our gear here, and we got to see if we can fit 70–80% of this in the sleds, and then we'll put the rest in our packs. We're going to put all the heavy stuff in the sleds. We'll put the light stuff in our packs, because I don't know if you've ever skied with a big heavy backpack on, but it is no fun. I think it's actually easier in those conditions and situations to drag a sled. So first off, it's going to be the wood stove, because that is the biggest, the heaviest, and the bulkiest. So this is a super simple sheet metal wood stove. I've had it for years and years and years. Legs fold out. Door opens up. And then you can see I cut the stovepipe to fit inside. So I've got 2 bigger diameters, 2 smaller diameters, a reducer. I think there's an elbow in there, and some wire. And that lets us set that stovepipe up. And by having the 2 different sizes, we can put the smaller one in the bigger one and get all that packed inside the stove. And then the stove gets pretty sooty and dirty. So I took some old sailcloth and made us a bag for it. When we're packing the sled, we want to be conscientious of the weight. If we put all the weight to one side or to the front or just to the back, the sled's not going to ride well. So we want to have heavier stuff towards the middle of the back, a little bit of lighter stuff on the front so the front doesn't bury and is easier to pull up and over things. But if you have all the weight in the back, the sled can kind of start to get squirrely. Since we're dragging sleds, weight and bulk isn't a huge issue. So we have a lot of creature comforts that we wouldn't necessarily take if we were backpacking. Honey. Yeah, and then there's still a bunch of room in the back of this Pulk we can tuck. Here, no, yeah, put the water bottle up there. That works. Heck yeah! Ready?
All right.
Oh man, this looks so cool.
This looks amazing. That bowl. I just want to get up all in it.
Yeah, that waterfall's gotta settle in a little bit more, but man, look at the slide to the left of it. Our plan is we can follow this trail out and there's a big bowl out around the corner.
Oh, cool.
A couple miles in, so we'll sled in there, we'll set up camp, we'll kind of go explore those farther bowls back there, because obviously we can see what all this is.
Yeah.
But judging by the topo, the stuff in the back there looks wicked cool, and there's no place to really put eyes on it without actually getting back there.
Gotcha.
So we are just a little bit north from Corner Brook. So this is the Humber Arm. Corner Brook's down here. And these are the Blow Me Down Mountains. So we are at this trailhead here. And if we look up, we're looking up at this waterfall and all of these faces and gullies in front of us, which is everything right up there. And our plan is to ski, hike, make our way along this trail back until we get to either this ravine or ideally a little bit farther, so that tomorrow we can pop around the corner and go check out these gullies, these walls, and all these ravines here. Because we can't see any of this back here from the road. These hills block it, and from over here you don't have the right angle. So we'll set up base camp, and then we'll have all day tomorrow to go in and explore. And we'll come out on Monday. The conditions aren't great for ice climbing or skiing right now, so this is predominantly a shakedown and a recon trip to see if this is worth coming back to when conditions are better.
Their first obstacle showed up right away. Right at the trailhead, there were several wooden walkways going over some of the wetlands, and the wood was completely exposed. After that, they realized that basically the whole trail itself was exposed, and getting the sleds through that way wasn't going to work. So they had to stay off-trail where there was snow. But the fish scales on their skis weren't really biting into the thin dusting of it that was there. Approaching the uphill portion of the day, they were having trouble pulling the 60-pound pulks, so they put on their skins, a directional fabric strip that would grip the snow better.
There we go.
think we're gonna dig out in here for the night. The trees are gonna provide a halfway decent windbreak on, you know, 1, 2, 3 sides, and then there's lots of snow here to work with. So even though the site isn't level, we'll be able to dig out, pack down, and kind of tuck a tent up here, tuck a tent up here, get the wood stove nestled in here, and I think we'll have a pretty comfy place for the next 2 nights. So the real challenge is going to be getting the gear up here, but thankfully it's, I don't know, 50 yards of tough going, and I think it'll be worth it to be out of the wind, a bit more protected, and what a view!
While he was sewing up the Pulk bags, Steve also whipped up these anchors for the tent out of old sailcloth. Filled with snow and packed down tight, they worked great, where tent stakes would have been useless.
This is very nice.
Oh, we need more snow.
Yeah, that was a rough skin.
Yeah,
That was a
foot or 2 snow would make a big difference.
huge difference.
Same deal with just setting up camp here too. Another foot or
Yeah.
2 of snow would leveling out. Getting
Yeah.
this place blocked in would be way better.
It was tough because we started clearing it out, and then we realized like how much tuckamore we were on top of,
Yeah.
and it just created those big holes. And it's okay. I rearranged our sleeping position, so we're not rolling down the hill anymore.
We're heads up.
No, we're heads up. We're at an incline. It's like a sleep number. We're
Nice. Let's put our feet against the bottom of the tent. We'll be all right. Slippery.
Oh, yeah. I gotta put crampons on my slippers.
Making some water for breakfast. And the goal for today is to just continue down around the corner and head up into the valley. We're camped right in here somewhere. And the goal for today is to head down across this little tributary, come around the corner, and we want to see what's up and in this gully here, because we can't see any of that from the road. And it looks, judging by the topography, pretty cool place to go explore.
These are the coolest snowflakes I've ever seen. Wow, they look like sugar cookies. They're perfect. Oh my gosh, they literally look like sprinkles that you would like shake on a cupcake or something.
Robin's right. They are like absolutely perfect and uniform. That's cool.
They are just the coolest snowflakes. I'm totally blown away. Come on, go this way. Good boy. Good boy, buddy.
Good boy.
Good boy.
posted the video of the boat getting hammered in the wind and the snow, and people were like, you know, you could be in the Caribbean or the Bahamas, but right now...
My body temperature is like I'm in the Caribbean or the Bahamas.
Yeah, no, I'm not
This is a
cold at
climb.
all. Yeah. But wow, oh, and come back here spring skiing, and when this ice is in a little more. And
It's so disorienting because I'm like, alpine, mountain, ocean. It's
yeah,
It's very surreal. I'm having cognitive dissonance.
we're here, babe. We're here where the mountains meet the sea.
We are.
And these are the little mountains.
Yeah, I know.
Coming up into the bowl here, and we can see 1, 2, 3 avalanche runs. So they're not huge, they're not giant slides, but as you can see, I mean, we're standing on a frozen layer here with just a couple inches of powder on the top. And last night, that wind would have been blowing that powder off the top. You can see the Cornice Ridge, which is that overhang of snow and ice at the top.
That's a pretty, I really want to pole whack.
Yeah.
So bad.
I don't want to be anywhere near
I don't want to be
that
anywhere
thing.
near it when I do it, but I'd like to watch it happen.
Yeah. And that's what happens. Those break off and come raining down. But that wind blew the snow over. It loaded things up. And then with this icy layer we had after the freeze, there's nothing for it to stick to, and it slid. And out here, there's no AVI forecasting, so we are completely up to our own discretion as to when we ski and where we ski and what that
Fortunately,
AVI
we
danger
have
is.
some certifications that allow us to better assess the safety of our situation.
And we have the tools.
We have the tools.
But we didn't bring any of that today because we're not heading up into any of that terrain, and none of this stuff is going to slide on this low angle that we're on. But when we come back later this winter, we'll definitely have to be real careful. But these bowls are amazing. That ice looks unreal. I can't wait to see the gully around the corner.
Yeah.
Akiva's ready to keep moving.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's all right.
Wow, the color of the water is like beautiful.
Ideally, if the river below was frozen and not a raging rapid, they would have been down there to get around the corner to try to see the next gully. They took the high road to try to get a vantage point. At a certain point, the dusting of snow wasn't enough to ski on, but not slipping on the rocks was getting hard with the skis off. So they figured laying eyes on the bowl wasn't a today thing. But now they knew that with snow on the trail that follows the river, they could easily check it out some other time, in one day, no overnight or sleds required. So they headed back to base camp for the night. Carter followed a higher route below the ridgeline to set up a little downhill run for himself.
Nice. That's great.
That was awesome. Oh, wow, it is warm over here.
Yeah, it is. It's really warm.
Good job, Fire Tender.
I cut some wood and everything.
Hell yeah.
This is my first time ever having stovetop popcorn.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess this is the time and place.
This is awesome.
Certainly can't make microwave popcorn here.
Not an option. Wow.
There are some challenges winter camping, but there are a few luxuries winter camping.
What is for dinner tonight?
Chicken and quinoa and cheese and onion and pepper. So tonight's got a little bit of prep.
Rock and roll.
Oh, he's a tired puppy.
Oh my God, he's so sweet.
Did you cover him up, or did he like burrow down in there on his own?
I think he like burrowed down there on his own. Sweet boy.
He's so well insulated, it doesn't melt on him.
For the way back to the truck, they thought they had come up with something better than they had taken in, but it didn't turn out that way. Fortunately, it was a short slog, just 1.25 miles back to the trailhead. Though the conditions were far from ideal and the going wasn't always easy, now they know the area a little bit better. An area that if you want to know it, you've got to get in there and buck around for a little while. Thanks for following along, and especially if you're making all this possible by being one of our supporters on Patreon. We'll be back next week with Steve and Carter ice climbing directly above crashing ocean waves. It was a first for both of them.
Bring back to the boat. Do you want to go get breakfast? Lunch? You want to go harbor grounds?
Sure, I could eat.